Hi, and welcome to TTC. On this week's episode, in our hot topic, we're going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem scandal of Nick and Aaron Carter. And of course, we got to talk the SNL scandal, because we got to talk shit on Lorne Michaels. And then in our main topic, Stef tells us the story of disgraced NFL player Michael Vick, and I talk the SoHo grifter Anna Delvey. Stay tuned.
What up, fam? What up, fam? It's good, y'all. Feels good, right? Good, right? Yeah, I know it, dude. And without further ado, we broadcasting live from CA to NY.
And that Silicon Valley guy says he and his wife are swingers. Although I don't have much to say about that, except that I'm surprised more than one person wants to fuck that ugly
guy. He wears well-tailored suits in the Verizon commercials.
Oh, he's the Verizon commercial guy?
Yeah. Oh. I wouldn't fuck him based on that, but
hey, maybe he get you on his phone.
No, because I'm still scamming AT&T for my phone plan.
I know. Fuck.
I probably get a better discount than he does.
And that's the best kind of a beginning any baby can have.
The thing about Felipe Vazquez.
What is it?
He plays for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he's accused of having a sexual relationship with a 13-year-old girl.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's bad. And the FBI is involved because they have the text messages and shit.
How old is he?
I don't know.
28. Felipe Vazquez?
Yeah.
Okay. 28.
Mm-hmm.
Who does Pittsburgh Pirates?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Ed Buck.
What is that?
That's that guy, that millionaire who dead black guys keep showing up at his house.
Oh yeah, I just saw he got arrested,
Uh-huh.
right? Yeah. He's a drug dealer, right?
No, but he injects them with drugs because it's part of his kink.
Oh. He gave a lot of money. He's a Democrat, right?
Yeah.
He always rallies for Democrats.
Yeah.
Oy.
This is a third guy overdosed. Luckily, thank God this guy survived. But
Didn't somebody recently overdose? I thought that he was being investigated. This fool did it again?
He did it again. This is the third time. The other two men died. But it's the LAPD doesn't give a fuck because this is queer black men, And it's a rich white guy who's doing this.
How is he a millionaire?
I think he was in he might have been in tech in the 80s or early 90s.
Ooh, imagine.
Yeah. He's not a, super duper millionaire, but he's very comfortable, obviously. He lives in West Hollywood.
Right. That's all you got to say right there.
Yeah. Anyway, but now I just read breaking news a few hours ago that they're opening investigations into the previous two deaths.
Good. They should.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because how long were they going to let this? He's a fucking serial killer.
Right.
What was the other thing? And Shane Gillis. Okay. All right.
Who, honestly, I didn't know who the fuck Shane Gillis was.
No one did.
Right? And then he was cast on SNL along with their first Asian American
Bowen
comedian,
Yang.
Right? Yeah. And
yes.
who else?
And a woman I've never heard of.
Okay.
But she's supposed to be, word on the street is she's very funny, very talented. And Bowen Yang, if you've seen his lip sync videos, you know who he is. He's great.
Okay. I've never heard of any of them. But it's funny that SNL trying to be diverse, right? Then also cast this fucking guy.
Well, it came out actually yesterday
that he was going to be appealing to the conservative people.
He was the diversity hire. So Lorne Michaels decided that they needed a more conservative voice on the show. So he didn't even get the regular audition process that most people do, which is you have to come up with a character and you have to do some impressions and stuff like that. They just had him do a 6-minute stand-up set.
And they hired him?
Yeah.
See, so then obviously after the announcement was made that these 3 new hires for SNL season, I'm sorry, what did I just fucking say?
No, that was
After
right.
the okay, Twitter and the internet did what it does, looked into everybody's background, and Shane had a podcast where he was racist,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Mhm.
He made fun of Asian Americans, use Asian slurs,
Yeah.
makes
A
voice.
C word that's not cracker.
Yeah, yeah, a G word that's awful,
Mm-hmm.
and a bunch of other bad stuff. Right? I didn't read all of it. I didn't see all of what he said, but I was just like, what the fuck?
It was enough. And this was only
Yeah.
the,
That one thing is enough. Don't say that.
and when I saw this come up, I was like, oh, it was only from the most recent episode was only from 8 months ago when he did this. So I was like,
Really?
all those motherfuckers who are like, well, this was like 15 years ago. Like, okay, let's see. What's the excuse this time? You know?
Yeah.
Nope. It was only from 8 months ago. And then there was a second incident from like a year and a half ago.
Uh-huh.
And then the fans of his podcast immediately shut the subreddit for his podcast down because I guess
saw that.
there was a lot of evidence of even worse things over the years, and they locked that shit down. Which,
And he was trying to delete his own
yeah,
shit, right?
he was.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if either of us ever gets on SNL, I hope one of you guys will lock down our.
I know. Please, God.
No, I'm kidding. We would never say anything that would be horrible like this.
I've said things that aren't that we've like put out stuff that isn't that bad. Just like me being just like honestly like ignorant, like because we're always learning, and I feel bad when I listen to it. I'm like, oh fuck, why'd I say that? Or
In retrospect, yeah, sure. I mean, just like every human being, but it's not like
intentionally like
or
malicious?
malicious.
Yeah.
This is like malicious. There were no jokes attached. You know. This
yeah.
is,
What the fuck? I was like, this isn't even fucking funny what this fool saying.
right?
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
As an Asian American woman, let me tell you.
Okay, Scarlett Johansson.
Right? So then he apologized. He said, he's sorry, obviously. He's learning and whatever. He's moved on. He tried to say that it was in the past or something.
And he also said that it's like his job as a comedian to push the envelope.
Oh, yeah. And somebody was like, everybody was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's when everybody was like, this isn't even clever. This isn't even slightly funny. You're not pushing any fucking envelope. You're just literally using racially derogatory terms.
Right.
Derogative terms.
He said,
So-
I hate Asian people. Which that's not.
No, he did. Did he really?
He might not have even said people. He might have just said Asians. I hate Asians. That's not a joke.
How you gonna hate Asians, my dude?
Yo.
Have you never had their food? Have you ever been in the presence of their families?
Right. They are so loving. They're so
They're
loving people.
fucking wonderful, welcoming people. Their food bops.
This is going to be the most controversial thing to ever come out of our podcast. I love Asians.
I hella love Asians. Anyways, yeah, that was so that then thankfully SNL fucking fired him.
Yeah.
Which good.
And then he put out a statement that said like something like, I was always a Mad TV guy anyway.
Yeah, he put out that he was like, I'm sorry, like they made the right choice. Yeah. And then today it came out that he went to go do stand up last night.
Uh-huh.
And he said, let me read what he said.
I can
'cause it's,
predict
like,
his entire career trajectory from now. And it's like, he's going to be fine.
oh, of course he's going to be fine. Yeah.
Because you know who's going to be supporting him.
Yeah. The same people.
Mm-hmm.
He said that Twitter has been fucking nuts and that he'll keep making fun of Asian people.
No. Well, all right. Then I hope all those people that jump to his defense will quickly realize that they made a huge mistake.
Yep.
On some Joe Bluth shit, I've made a huge mistake.
Oh, no, this is what he said. I'm sorry. This is what he said. I'm fine with the consequences. I want everyone to know that I've been reading every one of my death threats in an Asian accent.
He's gross.
He's so fucking gross.
Who was sending him? That doesn't sound like the people who are complaining about this. I don't think are the same people that are.
Yeah, it would be the other way around.
Yeah, that send death threats. That doesn't sound like.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's probably exceptions to that rule. I'm sure there's some fucking idiots out there.
Yeah, remember we were just talking about this, the vegan
Oh, yeah.
carnivore thing? Why did we talk about
Because
Oh.
Moby, yeah.
Oh, God. Moby got a tattoo, guys. Look that shit up.
Yeah. Just let it be a surprise if you haven't seen it. Just look up Moby tattoo.
Kat Von D. Anyways, yeah, so Shane Gillis is out. He's fucking gross, and we don't like him.
Bye.
We don't like you, Shane.
You can't sit with us.
Don't hang out over here, okay?
Goodbye. Goodbye. And you know what's funny though? What exactly is the vetting process at SNL that they missed this from 8 months ago?
They didn't miss that shit.
They saw it and they thought nobody would
Of
care.
course. How do they, like, you, especially now that I know what you said, that like he didn't go through the regular interview process.
Yeah.
Like they had to have been looking at these comedians specifically because they wanted somebody who would appeal to conservatives.
True.
So they were really looking at their shit deeply.
And the other thing is that he has already been banned from several comedy clubs.
I saw that a bunch of people were coming out saying that, oh, we won't work with him because he's racist.
So this is like a long-standing thing that people, especially comedy's a small world, they fucking knew about that shit. So what? I don't know. SNL. That's another NBC shady SNL move in there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, Lorne Michaels. Oh, and the other big thing that happened this week, this shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Aaron Carter and Nick Carter are going through it, y'all. Remember I told you if you have two brothers, then one of those brothers is shady.
It's the Pythagorean theorem.
That's the Pythagorean theorem right there. How did it start? Like, because I started with Nick getting the restraining order.
Okay. Did you see the notes app that Nick put out?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. He said, after careful consideration, my sister Angel and I regret that we were required to seek a restraining order against our brother Aaron today. In light of Aaron's increasingly alarming behavior and his recent confession that he harbors thoughts and intentions of killing my pregnant wife and unborn child, we were left with no choice but to take every measure possible to protect ourselves and our family. We love our brother and truly hope he gets the proper treatment he needs before any harm comes to himself or anyone else.
So immediately after, they got the restraining order. Nick posted that note. Then Aaron took to Twitter.
Yes, for hours.
Yeah, to respond to his brother. And he was saying, first of all, that he hasn't seen Nick in like 4 years. So he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Also, did you know that sister is who he claims sexually molested him?
Oh, I did not know that. Oh
yeah,
my God.
I read that today.
Angel, that sister Angel.
Yes.
And they have another sister that died of an overdose.
Oh shit, really?
Not that long ago, but perhaps definitely within the last 10 years, because I had forgotten about this, but they had a short-lived reality show on E!
Yeah, it was like the Carters or something.
Something like House of Carters.
Yes.
I've never seen it. Maybe I saw like 10 minutes of it back in the day. But she was on that show, and that show was like in 06, 07 or something, so...
Wow.
She died since then.
That's awful. Well, then Aaron also said, really, like, I'm the dangerous one. I'm not the one who rapes women.
Yeah.
So he's alleging that Nick Carter raped people. And he said, I'm not the one who beat up Paris Hilton. He called out Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
And I do remember when Nick and Paris were dating that there was these paparazzi pictures of her with like a fat lip. And like she released a statement or something saying that I don't know, that it wasn't, because people were like, oh my God, does he hit her or what?
I know that there had been police involved in their relationship at some point.
Yeah. And Nick has been accused of molesting somebody underage, I think,
fans,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nick has multiple accusers. So
yeah,
obviously there's some merit to this, but this is like, that's getting really, really messy.
It's all like publicly messy because Aaron is unhinged and somebody needs to take away his Twitter at least.
And his guns. That I think it started with that and
that is scary.
The siblings, I guess, called the police to try to have his guns removed. Did you know he lived in Lancaster or some shit?
What?
Aaron just bought a house in Lancaster. Anyway,
What the fuck?
they called the cops to try to get his guns taken away because they think that he's a danger to himself and others. I guess he made a threat against Nick's wife and unborn child.
That's crazy. Oh, you know what, mate? I'm gonna go back. He's saying that it's the sister that died is the one that molested him.
Oh, okay.
Leslie.
Oh, that's crazy. So Aaron has been in some trouble, in some personal problems for a few years now. He
missed court, right?
Yeah,
recently?
I think so. Yeah, he had been on probation. He had like a DUI at some point. He went away because he had a drug addiction,
Right.
which was, I mean, quite obvious if you look at pictures of him from a couple years ago.
Yeah, he looks strung out.
He looks really bad. And somebody was, I was deep into his Twitter. When was that? Last night or the night before?
Yeah, it was last night. Because he even started saying, like, I want Me Too people to get involved, right?
Yeah.
Because he's saying that there's some big cover up against his brother.
Right.
Yeah.
And people were like, shut up, you're a drug addict, whatever. And then
which that sucks.
I mean, it does suck. And he said, they were like, just look at you. He's like, don't talk about my appearance. I have like, I'm anorexic and I have a lot of physical ailments. And so then I saw he had a recent appearance on the show The Doctors.
Yeah.
And they drug tested him and he tested positive for marijuana, opioids, and benzos. And
What's benzo?
Like Valium and Xanax, stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Which he claims, I mean, he considers himself a sober person. He claims to be clean, and he says that all, like, the opioids are for the pain management because he has these unspecified physical ailments.
But you can't do that if you're an addict.
Right. And he says
you have to not do it.
that the benzos are, he was an addict, and I mean, he is an addict to that category of drugs, but that his doctors are tapering him off of it, which is why it was still in his system.
Okay.
So,
well, it's just a slippery slope there, dude.
Right.
If you're gonna, if you really are an addict, you like, that's why you see recovered or recovering addicts always refuse painkillers and stuff when they get injured because they know they can't.
And you go to a hospital, if you spend any time in a hospital, a lot of addicts will have the wristbands that'll say no, specifically like no opioids or
right.
Yeah. So I mean, and he does look better compared to how he looked 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, for a while there he was looking cadaverish.
Yes. So I don't know. I don't know what the truth is. He's obviously he's obviously struggling mentally, but that doesn't invalidate what he's saying about his brother.
No, it doesn't. And that's not fair that people won't listen to him because of that. Or people just want to throw that in his face as if that somehow doesn't mean he's telling the truth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
because
that's hard.
You're choosing not only not to believe him, but also not to believe the victims.
The victims who are saying that it's happened to them.
Right.
Do you think Paris will say something?
You know what? I don't think so. I think Paris... if that was really an abusive situation and she's left it way in her past, I don't see any reason to jump in.
Yeah.
And is it going to do any good? Probably not.
Right.
Maybe actually it could lend some credence to the victims' voices, but
the other victims for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I forgot about that couple though, Paris and Nick.
Yeah. She was it was like during her rise.
Yeah.
That she was with him too.
They seem like, I don't know. They seem like a good couple, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like perfectly fine together. How does Aaron Carter make any money?
Oh, did you see that tweet where he said that he lent Nick something like $300,000 when he was broke?
What?
Yeah. Well, Nick, I could see.
Oh, he was on like Dancing with the Stars and stuff. Nick, I get it. Like Backstreet Boys does a bunch of like random shows.
Yes.
They're at casinos and shit.
They're on tour and they have they do like a cruise and shit. I'm sure I'm sure Nick is currently comfortable.
I'm sure too. Yeah. As long as he saved some of the money he made when they were huge. But even then, they were at Backstreet Boys and like NSYNC and shit. I feel bad for some of them because they were during the time of the record label thing.
Yeah.
And those people were taking all their money from them.
But they were probably making more money than people now with the streaming, because people at least were buying albums back then.
That's true.
The problem
That's true.
with them though is they have to split it 5 ways and shit.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
So like poor,
and they had to give Justin a little bit more because
I was gonna
he's
say
got an ego.
Poor Joey Fatone is somewhere eating a cheeseburger in Orlando.
Trying to liquidate some of his fucking platinum albums he's got.
Liquidate his residuals from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Shout out to that movie, though. Yeah. That movie slaps.
That's just a bop.
Oh, shout out to our listener and one of our favorites, Big Gus, who left us a message on the hotline saying that we should put out a dictionary because for all of our Stef and May-isms. He's like, I got bop. He's like, I got that one. But,
My brother always tells me that too. Like with bop, for a while, he was like, what is it? What is it? And then my sister-in-law said that he would just be saying it around the house. Like, oh, that's a bop. It's a bop.
It is,
what
though.
A bop. All right.
Yes.
I think I'm up first this week.
Okay, good.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stef.
And hi, my name is May, and together we are the Drama Club.
Thank you for listening. This is our full episode. We are a celebrity gossip podcast.
Yeah, we talk about lots of shit, scandals, pop stars from the late 90s, early 2000s, heiresses like Paris Hilton, sport.
SNL. Sport,
SNL. Our love of Asians.
Oh, yeah, we love Asians, but not in a fetish
Not in
kind
a
of
weird way.
Yeah, not in a respectful ass way.
Yes.
C-way.
Amway.
Ah-way. Amway. All right. Speaking of sport,
yeah,
I'm going to do Michael Vick.
Okay. I'm excited for this because this was huge.
This was really huge. If you're a fan of this podcast, which I hope you are if you're listening, then you know that your girl Stef is a football noob. I've probably learned more about football during the recordings of this podcast than I have ever previously in my life. And that's only because I want to know the drama.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, thank you. She's most for life. But Michael Vick is famous first for being a quarterback in the NFL, which means he throws the ball forward, not backwards or laterally.
True.
He was born in Virginia to Brenda Vick and Michael Bodie. His parents were teenagers when he was born, and they were not married. His mom and dad both worked 2 jobs to help raise little baby Michael, and eventually they did get married when he was 5 years old, but Michael ended up keeping his mom's maiden name throughout his life.
If Michael wouldn't have gotten into this drama, what a great success story. You know, his parents working 2 jobs. This dude makes it into the NFL.
Yeah, and I actually get into that too.
Okay.
Because Michael grew up in the projects in East End Newport, which is a lower end neighborhood in Virginia. And Michael said himself that his life growing up was really stressful because he was constantly around crimes and violence. And so sports were seen by a lot of kids as a way of getting out of that place.
Yeah.
He also said he would go fishing a lot because that's something people like to do in Virginia.
Virginia has a
lake?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so he said that a lot of kids from his projects would go fishing for hours, like even if the fish, he said something like, even if the fish weren't biting, we just want to get out of that place.
That's really sweet.
It's really sad. And so, Michael's dad taught him and his younger brother football, and they ended up joining a local Boys and Girls Club in order to practice.
Shout out to the Boys and Girls Club.
Right? And I think something in the community that gets taken for granted.
Yeah. And
but it's so wonderful.
And they're on the ground actually doing shit, you know? Like a lot of these not-for-profits are very lofty. They're just putting money out there, you know, figure it out, guys. We'll raise the money, you guys figure it out, but they're actually on the ground doing that shit.
Yeah, when we were in college, I remember Jesus worked at the YMCA, and they offer everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything, even like weight loss clinics,
Right.
like nutritionists,
Yeah.
like anything that you could ask for.
As outlined in the song YMCA by the Village People.
Don't get me started on that, because that's what I want it to be for Halloween.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a bop. I didn't say the Village People though. I think I literally just said YMCA.
In the show Pose, the YMCA offers classes on how to Vogue in like 1991.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cute. So yeah, the local Boys and Girls Club was great since it got him away from all the bad stuff going on as a kid. So kind of going off the sentiment you were saying earlier, I think it's super interesting because this whole like childhood story, this is from something like an interview of Michael's with like ESPN magazine or something.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like him talking about his own life, right? So he's trying to paint this picture like,
Sure.
I grew up in the hood, surrounded by hood shit,
Yeah.
aka gangs, drugs, crimes, but I was different. I tried to get away from that, and I focused on football.
Sure.
Which sounds really great and really wonderful, except fast forward a few years and he ends up in prison anyways.
Wait, hold on. Was this interview, was it pre or post scandal?
Before pre.
Okay.
So I think, what does that say about like where you grew up and where you ended up? Did the NFL really take you out of there?
Right.
I don't know. There's some fucking somebody smarter than me with a psychology degree needs to look at this shit and like really like I don't know.
I mean, that makes me sad because
it's sad
because you're suggesting that there's nothing you can do. I mean, you're not suggesting it, but that's one of the implications of the question that you're asking.
Right. No, not nothing you could do, just maybe not the NFL.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, I just think maybe the NFL wasn't an escape from the hood shit, really.
Right. Because you're escaping these poor, violent, like honestly masculine environment for a rich, violent, masculine
environment. Yeah. Okay, so we digress, right? So Michael did good as fuck at his high school and eventually chose to attend Virginia Tech, which he had his choice of where he wanted to go because he was so fucking good.
Dope.
He officially left the Newport News Projects in 1998.
That
with
sounds
a full
like such a nice place. Newport News.
Right? Newport, because you think of Newport Beach.
Yeah.
With a college football scholarship, and he was paraded around his community as a full-blown success story.
Yeah.
Look at this kid. He beat the odds. He made it out of here. In his first collegiate game, he scored 3 touchdowns. And officially had all eyes on him.
Wow.
During this season, he even appeared on the cover of an ESPN magazine. He won an ESPY award as the nation's top college player. And he was invited as a freshman, which is unheard of, to the Heisman Trophy presentation, where he finished in 3rd place, which was the highest finish for a freshman player ever.
That's amazing. Oh,
that's crazy, right?
Hey, shout out to this kid this week who started with Barca. He's 16 years old.
Yeah, I saw that.
And scored like 3 goals in 2 games. That shit is amazing.
That is so amazing. So Michael left Virginia Tech after his sophomore season. And while he was at school, his family was still living in an apartment. And he said that he chose to leave college and join the NFL mostly because he wanted to help his family.
I understand it.
Yeah, me too. Which he did. As soon as he signed to the Atlanta Falcon, he bought his family a brand new house in an upscale neighborhood in Suffolk, Virginia.
Yo, he's
got to feel great.
I know. And he's a dirty bird too.
Imagine.
Yo.
He was selected first in the NFL draft that year, 2001, becoming the first African-American quarterback to be taken by the top pick.
Yo, that's another story, but why are the quarterbacks white?
I don't know. I was actually saying this to Joel, and I was like, he's the first African-American quarterback to be taken. And he was like, all the quarterbacks are white boys.
Yeah, there's like...
Which I didn't realize that, but now that I think of it...
I think there are some studies about it.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
See, we need a fucking psychologist for this episode. We need to call in some PhD, analyze this shit for us, because I got questions and I don't got answers. So I need you.
The Drama Club, where we ask all the hard questions and give you 0 answers. The Drama Club.
505-530-556. Do you have an answer to my question? Drop me a line. Michael signed a 6-year, $62 million contract. A sophomore out of college. Imagine if we had $62 million our sophomore year of college.
God, what would we spend that money on?
99 bananas and shit.
A California pizza kitchen.
Yeah. What was that shot we just took? I was gonna say we used to take, but we just took it. Cactus
cooler. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So now he's on
stripper
that.
poles and Ouija boards.
So now he's on the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
And it appears that Michael did extremely very fucking well for himself in the 2001 and 2002 seasons.
Yeah, amazing.
He was passing, running, yarding, intercepting, and touchdowning.
What is yarding?
These are all the things. And he was really very good at all of these things.
Yeah.
Probably made a lot of fans very, very happy and a few white men very, very rich.
Mm-hmm.
In 2003, he injured his right fibula in a preseason game and he missed the first 11 games of that season. But then he came back and did very, very well again for the rest of the season and picked up even more speed from 2004 to 2006.
My dude.
And I had to fast forward through all the good stuff because this podcast isn't called The Good Club. It's called The fucking Drama Club.
Yeah.
So let's get to it. In April 2007, Michael's home was searched in connection with an investigation into a dog fighting ring. Michael's house was found to contain over 70 dogs, mostly pit bull terriers, several of which had injuries on their body.
Oh, I'm suddenly tight because
I know.
You guys know we're dog lovers.
We love dogs. They were immediately seized by federal police as well as other physical evidence, including dog carcasses that they found.
Oh my God.
At the house. In July 2007, Michael and 3 other men were indicted on federal charges related to the running of a criminal enterprise of an interstate dog fighting ring known as the Bad News Kennels.
Now, okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, will this question be answered later?
Like I said, I ain't got no answers to no questions.
Does he, I know that he's raised the issue of this being cultural, like a part of his culture in Virginia and shit.
That.
Okay,
yeah.
But was this somehow lucrative? Was this a business endeavor also, or was this just like a hobby? Like this is what I do on the week, like fucking fishing.
I don't know about the lucrativeness. So, and I'll say this later because one witness came forward and said that they saw Michael specifically bet on one fight $40,000.
Okay.
So if they're betting that level of money, I mean, it has to be lucrative, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's no fucking way it's not.
Okay.
Right. So the dogfighting ring involved multiple states and was allegedly operating on Michael's property since at least 2002. So for about 6 years. And that would have been the year just after he went pro with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Participants in the ring, as well as their dogs, would travel from South Carolina, North Carolina, Maryland, New York, Texas, and other states to attend dog fights at Michael's house in Virginia. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Like it's a fucking pageant? What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
like so crazy. His house was the main staging area for housing, training, fighting, and killing pit bulls. So the criminal allegations against Michael had to do with his direct involvement in the dog fighting itself, the high stakes gambling, and the brutal dog executions.
Oh God. Also, fuck people like him because you're ruining pit bulls.
Yes, that's another awful thing. And there is a great article in the Washington Post about the dogs. Like it's like the Michael Vick's dogs or something like that, which I used in researching this. And it talks about how pit bulls are so stereotyped already. Yeah. They have such a bad rep. And a lot of that is because of people like this.
Yeah.
Like They're not the dogs aren't bad dogs. You make them bad dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
They're violent because you make them fucking violent.
Mm-hmm.
Because my old roommate in college had a pit bull, sweetest fucking dog ever.
Those dogs can be, especially with kids.
Yes.
They can be so protective of children. They can be the
Perfect.
sweetest dogs.
Yeah, Hoel's mom has a pit bull Dodger. He's the dumbest, best boy. He's such a sweetheart. Like, he thinks he's a puppy.
Yeah.
And he's like this big, muscular fucking pit bull, you know? Like, he's so cute.
Yeah.
I love him.
So truly, I mean, fuck him for this and fuck everybody else for this exact issue.
Yeah. The dog executions were found by the criminal investigators to have been performed by hanging, drowning, electrocuting, something called slamming, which is really awful, and shooting.
What?
Because they're fucking sick.
To obviously not excusing the dog fighting, but there's some sort of, I guess, logic behind that. Like, it's a thing that you enjoy, but like why the heinous torture of dog? Like, why the killing?
Because they're sick people. Like, we all know, like, if you're somebody who tortures animals,
yeah,
that leads to something, or like that says that you have something, right? Oof. So, and then this is where I found that the witness said that they had seen Michael bet as much as $40,000 on the income of a single dog fight. And he would have like dog fighting events. So that's just one fight.
Oh my God. You know? Shout out to the movie Amores Perros.
I know. That's a
that
fucking
movie
bop
slaps.
right there. The three other men indicted were CJ Riemann, Quanis Phillips, and Tony Taylor. CJ was the nephew of Michael's high school football coach. He was paying the state fees to renew their kennel license every year in order to house all the dogs on Michael's property. CJ had prior charges of illegal firearm possession, which included carrying a loaded Glock at an international airport.
What?
Yeah, the other two guys had like minor marijuana drug charges also. I think one of them actually, Quanis, this dude, he played football with Michael in high school, so they all knew each other from back home.
Yeah.
He was the one that was listed as the contact in order to purchase dogs from their kennel. So I think he was the one that also trained the fighting dogs.
So what was the cover? They were breeders?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last dude, Tony, he's the only one that actually they didn't know from high school. He became involved by chance because he had heard of the kennel as a place to train pit bulls. Oh. So he helped purchase pups in order to train them and fight on the property.
Fuck that guy too.
He also executed at least 2 dogs that weren't performing well in test fights. So if they didn't do good in test fights, they would kill the pups.
What the fuck?
I know.
I kind of thought that the killings were if they had been injured or something.
No, the killings were if they were like if they lost a lot of money or if they just weren't fighting well, they would fucking kill them.
I just got sick to my stomach. Like my stomach hurts.
Shortly after the indictment, Michael allegedly threw Tony off of his property and listed the house up for sale. The 15-acre property included a large swimming pool, basketball court, and these creepy outbuildings in the woods, which is where they would keep all the dogs. Mm-hmm. He was trying to sell that house for 50% of its assessed value. So he was just trying to get the fuck rid of it.
Somebody came up then, I bet, whoever bought that shit.
At this point, the media got a hold of the story, which led to several animal rights activists to take protests against the NFL and Michael as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. This included Russell Simmons and Reverend Al Sharpton, who joined with the Humane Society of the United States, speaking out against animal cruelty, the NFL, and Michael. Mm-hmm. But Michael's supporters were also front and center defending him, including several athletes. Stephen Marbury, who plays for the Celtics, Stefan. Mm-hmm. He called dog fighting a sport like hunting. Hunting is also bad, by the way. I mean, except for like sometimes there's like that hunting where it's like it's like season or whatever, right?
Hunting to eat, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I'm a carnivore, so I can't say anything about that.
I'm okay. Hunting for sport, I don't.
Like game hunting?
Yeah, I do not agree with that.
Remember that stupid fucking movie with John Leguizamo where they hunt men?
What? No,
yeah.
What's it called?
I don't know.
I like John Leguizamo.
Me too. He's funny. They try to, and then his stupid ass is like somebody who's getting hunted by these white men.
What the fuck? I
That
want to see
was
that.
so fucking stupid, dude.
Yes, but so I would compare it to that, and they're equally heinous. But maybe dog fighting is more heinous because, at least with like game hunting, it's quick. It's like
Right. And you're not. Well, I don't know. Do they bet on it?
no.
Right? I
It's
didn't
trophy.
think
It's your winning is the carcass of the animal that you hang on your fucking wall.
And you're like out there, right? Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like you're out there, you're searching for it. There's a technique involved.
Sure.
Whatever. When you're dog fighting, what do? You throw the dogs in the middle and you're fucking watching. You're sitting there watching, betting, drinking, smoking, probably.
Yeah.
Roy Jones Jr., a boxer, downplayed the crime, saying that this could happen in anyone's backyard or street. So what's the big deal? A running back of the Redskins, Clinton Portis, said, quote, "It's his property and it's his dog. People should mind their own business."
Oh no, fuck him. That's let's investigate that fool.
Deion Sanders, a former star football and baseball player,
I
asked
love
the
Deion
public.
Sanders.
Yeah, I know. I said this out loud, and then Joel was like, "Damn, Deion Sanders is a boss." He like started reading all his accolades.
Yeah.
He was basically like, "Why are we indicting this man? What did he do wrong?"
Oh, Deion, no.
Then all of Michael's endorsements started dropping, like we see after scandals with every sports person.
A shout out to Nike, who dropped Antonio Brown today.
I have a bone to pick with Nike. We'll get to it at the end of this.
Okay.
Nike, Adidas, and Reebok suspended Michael's contract immediately without pay and refused to sell any Michael Vick products. The NFL immediately pulled all of Michael's related items from the NFL shop. So did Dick's Sporting Goods and Sports Authority. Fans of the Falcons began donating their Michael Vick jerseys and shirts to the Atlanta Humane Society for use as animal bedding and cleaning rags.
Oh, good for you guys. Because I always feel like it's so fucking stupid when people start like burning their shit.
Yeah, me too. Like, what are we gonna do with that?
Yeah.
Like, what?
That
Like,
shit is
why?
fucking dumb, and you paid for that shit.
Yeah, they already got your money.
I also want to say something. Why people seem to be moving very swiftly on this. They don't move that swiftly but for instance, a Ray Rice beat up his wife on camera.
Yep.
So what's going on here?
I don't know. And that's something that we see from time to time. Like, they'll say, oh, like you'll see Twitter be like, if something happens to animals, maybe now they'll rally behind it. I don't know. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
With Ray Rice, it's a black man hitting a black woman. Maybe that's something to do with it.
Yeah.
And that's awful. I think about this all the time and it makes me so sad, but I just think like nobody cares about women in this country.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's like the most heartbreaking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, maybe if two NFL players fuck each other up, like
Yeah.
they'll fucking do something about it.
Right.
You know? Michael and the other dude's attorneys said what you were saying earlier. They grew up in a culture where dogfighting was accepted. It was a ground for young men to demonstrate their strength, and it was something that they just like grew up around. They cited Michael's NFL career as a means for them to finally get into this, like to get the dogs to become a part of the world that they had seen and kind of like glorified growing up, which is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Michael turned himself in while awaiting sentencing on the federal charges. He was evasive regarding his involvement in the killing of the dogs. He failed a drug test, and his role in the criminal enterprise, he kept like just kind of dodging questions from everyone.
He failed a drug test?
For marijuana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At this point, Michael had prepared a statement proclaiming his innocence, but apologizing to his mom and his teammates. He posted bail, obviously, and he was free to play in the NFL until the trial. But Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank said Michael needs to give up any thoughts of playing until this shit is resolved.
Yeah.
Then Tony pled guilty. It was also like kind of impossible because it was like, yeah, he's out on bail, but he can't leave the state. So they were like, you can't fucking play with us, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah. You can't sit with us.
Then Tony pled guilty in a plea deal that indicated that he would cooperate in the federal charges against Michael.
That's the move. I mean,
Yep. That's what Tekashi did.
yeah. Yep.
Shit. Up there snitching ass to catch. Taylor signed a summary of facts admitting that he helped start the Bad News Kennels, this enterprise, with Michael and 2 others back in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
He said that all of the ring's operations and all of the gambling money was exclusively funded by Michael, and that Michael was funding, and that Michael purchased the property specifically to train fighting dogs.
Ugh.
This summary of facts is available online.
Mm-hmm.
Just for anybody who wants to have a boring read. I told you all the juicy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This statement fueled the speculation that Michael was going to possibly be charged on federal racketeering charges because he's running a criminal enterprise, aka a fucking gang, basically.
Yeah, through multiple states.
Yeah, so this is hella federal crime. Yeah. Those charges bring with it penalties of up to 20 years in prison. So
wow.
It would have been really bad. By August 13th, the other 2 defendants also pled guilty. And at this point, Michael hadn't decided what he was going to do. But, I mean, it wasn't fucking looking good for him.
Yeah.
And then, one of the co-defendants, Quanis, was incarcerated early because he failed a drug test while he was on parole.
Oh.
On August 20th, 2007, Michael pled guilty under a plea deal to a single count of dogfighting.
I can't believe that was so long ago.
I know. It's 12 years ago. Jesus. Fucking crazy, right?
If you would have asked me, I would have been like, that happened 5 years ago.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah. Because now most of the pups, they've passed away just because it was so long ago.
Poor babies.
I know.
That's a weird thing I always think about when I'm watching like old movies or like TV shows. I'm like, that dog is dead.
Yeah. How about the dog from that silent movie and Beginners is dead, right?
Augie.
I loved him.
I love him.
He made me want like a wire-haired terrier for a little bit.
I used to have one. He was fucking crazy.
I remember this exact conversation with you. Because I wanted this dog after seeing those movies, and you were like, no, those dogs are fucking crazy. A significant portion of Michael's plea deal forced him to cooperate with the feds in pursuing other dogfighting rings. And he had to also provide a statement regarding the dog killings and his involvement specifically with the dog killings.
Okay.
This plea deal allowed him to avoid the more serious federal charges regarding the corrupt organizations and racketeering. Mm-hmm. He issued a statement then to the public through his lawyer that he takes full responsibility for his actions and the mistakes he's made. However, during his polygraph testing, he was again deceptive about how involved he was with the dog killings and how involved he was with the criminal organization, leading the judge to get really fucking pissed. Mm-hmm. On August 27th, Michael appeared before the judge to hear his sentencing. He was given a 23-month sentence on the federal charges. The judge essentially threw the book at him because I guess it was supposed to be less than a year. Oh,
because he cooperated.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So he gave punishments higher than recommended by the prosecutors because he kept being shady about the fucking dog killings. Like they were like, you need to tell us exactly what you did.
Right.
Michael then agreed to deposit nearly $1 million into an escrow account for his attorneys to use in reimbursing the state for the costs of caring for the 70 confiscated dogs and the costs of finding them homes.
Okay.
Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the state had started its own investigation regarding the dog fighting ring for the state laws that had been violated.
This is a separate case.
Separate.
Jesus. Okay.
The plea deals in federal court had no standing in the local case that was being made against the 4 co-defendants. The NFL at this point had suspended him indefinitely, pending the outcome of his cooperation with both the state and federal authorities. Uh-huh. The Atlanta Falcons owners said that they had no immediate plans to cut ties with Vick, but the gambling activity ended up being the breach of contract, and they fired him, and then they demanded $20 million of his $37 million bonus back.
You're not allowed to obviously you can't gamble on NFL, but you're not allowed to gamble on other things and play in the league. That's crazy.
I didn't know that. You're not allowed to gamble?
Well,
period?
Because you said that was the thing.
And maybe because it was illegal gambling.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say Michael Jordan is a known gambler. There's like a lot of conspiracy theories about his first retirement around that. That could be an AD.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I hate hearing bad things about Michael Jordan.
Fuck them kids.
I know. As of October 2nd, 2007, so then like right after his first sentencing, 49 of the seized pups remained in shelters in Central Virginia. An ASPCA evaluation showed that one dog was so aggressive he could not be
rehomed.
Yeah, rehomed. He had a history of biting the evaluators. So that pup was ordered by the U.S. district judge to be euthanized.
Oh my God.
48 of the other pups were safe enough to be placed back into the community, and the judge ordered that they be spayed or neutered.
Okay, good.
Several of the dog experts said that the animals would require individual care for the rest of their lives to deal with the trauma and training that they had endured. A lot of organizations, so the Michael Vick thing was really monumental in how they dealt with dogs that were involved in dog fighting. Because most of the organizations, even PETA and the Humane Society of the U.S., they were calling for the pups to be euthanized, because that's usually what they do when they get fighting dogs, because they're like, they can't go back into the community. Like, they're gonna fuck with the other dogs. They're gonna consistently bite people. Like, there's nothing you can do for them. You have to euthanize them. But then Michael put that money aside, and the judge, since they had all this extra money, they were like, okay, let's send them to a sanctuary then.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And the sanctuary, which was called, they used they kind of played on because it was called like the Bad News Dog Fighting Ring.
Mm-hmm.
They called it like the Good News Angel Ring or something like that.
Yeah.
So this sanctuary, 25 of the pups were placed in the foster care, and they were basically rehabilitated. Like, they all ended up living together. They were happy pups. They stopped being violent. And a lot of the people that ran that sanctuary ended up teaching other sanctuaries and foster homes how to rehabilitate fighting dogs and stuff like that. So it ended up being kind of good.
They just needed someone to love them.
I know. And the National Geographic Channel has a little episode of Dogtown called Saving the Michael Vick Dogs, and it's really, really cute.
Oh.
Okay. In November 2007, Michael was found to be liquidating most of his real estate assets. He was already very bad at dealing with his finances, so it all went downhill once this started.
Okay.
He was spending around $30,000 a month to support 7 friends and relatives. And he was obviously betting a shit ton on these dog fights.
Yeah.
Michael Vick was then released from federal prison on March 20th, 2008. In 2009, he was officially released from the Falcons, making him a free agent. His state case had been put on hold while he was serving time in federal prison. Upon release, he immediately pled guilty to the state charges and received a 3-year suspended sentence, along with a fee of about $3,500.
Okay. What the fuck is the point of that shit?
Exactly. The property used in the dog ring operation was purchased by another dog rehabilitation center called the Dogs Deserve Better Center. And that one's also used as a rehab now for chained and penned pups.
Nice.
Michael then filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2008, showing that he had assets of less than $50 million with debts just as high. And his monthly income was listed as $277 a month.
Damn.
After his release from prison, Michael's return to professional football was a huge rumor because people were like, can he come back? Won't there be backlash?
Yeah.
What kind of a team would sign him?
Patriots.
He couldn't play in Canada anymore because as a convicted felon, he wouldn't be able to get a visa. So really getting back into the NFL was his only option. Another thing people were saying was like, is he even good still? Because he hasn't played for like 2.5 years at this point, almost 3 years.
Right.
On August 13th, 2009, Michael signed a 1-year, $1.6 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was backup for their main quarterback, Donovan McNabb.
Oh, I love Donovan McNabb. the fucking phone. This
Yeah.
motherfucker, after all of this, got a 1-year contract in Colin Kaepernick.
$1.6 million, guys.
Okay.
Most convicted felons can't find fucking housing, okay?
Yeah.
Let alone a job,
Yeah.
a regular job. Week 13 of that first season, Michael threw and ran for a touchdown, and the NFL owners collectively let out a sigh of relief since they confirmed that they could still make money off of this criminal. The Eagles made the playoffs that year and immediately re-signed Michael for the 2010 season. So Michael was officially back in the NFL, and he again performed exceptionally fucking well. He proved to them that he could still run, throw, intercept, yard, and touchdown. And after all, that's all that really makes a man. Am I right? He finished the season with 21 touchdowns and was then named the Eagles starting quarterback. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he sounds fucking crazy. Like, I don't know. That's why I'm telling you guys, he's running.
Because he's the backup quarterback and he made 21. Let's say you're lucky if you make 3 touchdowns a game as a starting quarterback, like that, you would be like exceptional if you made 3. So that shit is fucking crazy.
He sounds fucking crazy. Like, he sounds like he was the best. At one point, he was the highest paid player in the NFL. And then he, and like, why do this?
That's what, that was my question. Like, was it,
what is this?
Yes. Is it lucrative? Okay. It can't be as lucrative as your NFL career.
Of course it's not.
You know?
No.
So why is this? Why are you doing this? Why?
If you have the answer to this question, please call us. 505-539-556. Associated Press and Sporting News named Michael the NFL Comeback Player of the Year.
Fuck you guys.
In 2014, Michael signed a $5 million contract with the New York Jets. The same year, 2014, Nike re-signed Michael Vick to an endorsement deal, and in early 2015, his signature Nike sneakers returned. So Nike's unofficial slogan that year was "Fuck dogs, make money." In 2015, Michael signed a $970,000 contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he played alongside alleged / accused rapist Ben Roethlisberger.
Big Ben.
In 2016, he did not sign with any team and officially retired in 2017. Of the dogfighting scandal, Michael says that people moved on. People don't ask him about it anymore, and they don't talk about it anymore. Except us. We're fucking talking about it. He did say he feels like he has a responsibility because of it, so he does support stronger animal cruelty laws, and through his youth football volunteering, allegedly tries to educate kids on animal cruelty. And that's the story of Michael Vick and the dogfighting ring.
Ugh. I'm like angry now.
It's so bad, right?
Yeah.
It's disgusting that he came back.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And I'm not from that area. I don't know anyone from that area. I wonder if this is a real thing, if that's a real cultural thing.
Me too.
You know who is from that area? Pharrell, Missy Elliott. They don't talk about this shit.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I just don't get it. Also, I know I'm a super dog lover, so I just can't even imagine it.
Yeah.
It just makes me like sick to my stomach. But even like, I don't like cats, but I wouldn't fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I wouldn't
cat
be
fighting.
all up in a cat fighting ring.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
Cockfighting, that shit is weird.
Yeah. There was a lot of cockfighting in Puerto Rico when I went.
Ugh.
They had like a whole ass thing. I was like, damn.
Bullfighting is very cruel.
Yeah. Super cruel.
I have a question. Maybe one of our listeners.
Stop. Mate, I already said I ain't got no answers.
Wait, this question isn't for you though. I think this is for one of our listeners.
It's for our audience.
It's an audience question because I've had this question for a minute, and maybe one of you guys has more info on it. But what's up with is horse racing ethical?
Oh,
like I don't know enough about it to know the answer to that question, but it seems like the horses are very well cared for and stuff, but I don't know anything about it.
Like in Santa Anita, how did they keep on dying?
Well, I think there's something wrong with Santa Anita, right? That's why they keep shutting down that specific or is it called an arena? Track. A track. They keep shutting down that track.
I have no idea.
Remember that HBO show Luck? That could be a scandal too. That got shut down because the horses kept dying.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I always like think horses are a pet that people like fucking care for.
More than like those horses are living large.
Yeah, like they get fucking manicures and shit.
Yeah.
And their hair done. Yeah, so I don't know much about the horse race. I mean, all I know is that my dad always bets on specific jockeys.
Hey.
But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys
I would be interested in knowing that answer also.
Yeah, if you guys have info on that. Obviously, there's, extremists who are going to be like, no, under no circumstances should you be like, I don't know, profiting off of animals or
But
whatever.
that's the thing too, is like, because they're like, especially horse racing, they make so much money, these horses that win and shit. And the jockeys, I'm sure there is similar or similarities where like if a horse isn't performing well, like they probably fucking treat that horse like shit, you know?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna disrespect the shit out this horse.
Well, I think I retweeted it from Drama Club, but there was a scandal with the horse that won the Triple Crown this year.
Yeah, he was like roided up or something.
Yeah. And they knew about it and they covered it up and then they sold like his fucking rights. His breeding rights for like $50 million because fucking like each one of these horses is like a $10 million horse or some shit.
Fucking horses are richer than we are.
Shit.
That's so rude.
Yeah, so let us know, guys. 505-539-0556.
Gunmaker Colt is no longer going to produce AR-15 rifles.
I heard that today.
That's great. And actually, like, it's sad too that like these private companies have to be the ones to make differences. But I did also think it was great when I don't want to praise Walmart, but I think Walmart did say they were going to stop selling something. And maybe Dick's said they were going to stop selling something.
I think Dick's said they were going to stop selling it, and then Walmart said you can't bring that shit in here.
Oh, what the fuck?
They might have said stop selling it too, but for sure the big news was you can't open carry in our stores.
Well, that's good at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a very small thing, but I'll take anything at this point.
Same.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But the problem with the gun control issue is like it's such a cognitive dissonance. Like why we're the only place where this happens, and we're the only one who has these laws that protect gun owners. So okay, let's fix it.
Or like there's somebody that I know who is like says the argument that I see around where it's like, don't you think like even if they change the laws, they're still gonna all have guns, or they're still all gonna be able to get their guns? And I'm like, dude, honestly, maybe, but we've never fucking tried it.
Right.
So can't we fucking try it?
Let's try.
Let's just fucking try. Let's just do something.
Yeah.
And maybe it will be for nothing, but fuck, like at this point, just fuck, give it a go.
Yeah, sitting down and doing nothing for whom? Who
I know.
Who are we benefiting at this point?
I know. I'm like, oh God, I hate hearing people say that shit.
Yeah. We got a review.
Oh, we did another one?
Yes, from our friend Katie Yeager.
Oh yeah, I think I posted it on our Instagram.
Okay. No, you
Where she
posted
said-
Katie Nielsen.
Oh, okay, I'm tripping.
Katie Yeager just posted, which shout out to Katie, both Katies, but Katie Yeager, you have not updated your Twitter, and I keep checking for you.
Hey,
I know. All right.
that's true.
Anyway, but we got those two reviews, and then we also got a review from
Biblinga?
Yes, Biblinga posted a really nice review.
Oh yeah, she's the one who said her and her twin sister have been listening to us.
Yes, and
They're so cute.
And she said that like they pause and like talk about whatever we're talking about. I hope that, especially because I mean we have fun. We're a fun podcast. I hope that like when we talk about certain serious things that are important to us, I hope that you guys maybe like stop and think about it for a second. Not
Yeah,
that
me too.
obviously we don't have the answers, but like just ask yourself the questions that we
You could
usually
be
ask of
dumbfounded
each other.
with us. Hey, man, we all don't got the answers. Let's be real, you know? We're just out here doing our best. You ain't got the answer, Sway.
How, Sway? You ain't got the answers, Sway. This is the You Ain't Got the Answers Club.
I'm looking at our Instagram. Katie Yeager said, anytime a celebrity scandal comes out, my first thought is, I can't wait to hear what Stef and May say about this. That's so cute.
Aw.
There are times it's hard to be patient.
Okay, so this week, it's my turn. I've got a story about the influencer / low-key scammer.
Uh-oh.
And
Don't tell me Joanna.
no, Johanna
That's
the
just a
scammer.
meme.
No.
Imagine if you could do a whole ass episode on that meme.
An afternoon delight, maybe. All right, I'm talking about Anna Delvey, which this week Caroline Calloway's her little scandal went viral. And then the comparison started rolling into, in my opinion, one of 2018's best scammers. And my favorite scandal of that year, the so-called SoHo grifter, Anna Delvey. So let's talk about Anna. If you're like me, the first time you heard of Anna was in May 2018 when The Cut published an amazing piece by Jessica Pressler all about Anna called How Anna Delvey Tricked New York's Party People. So Jessica's article is my primary source for this because she tells the story so perfectly.
Dude, shout out to The Cut. They got some great writers over there.
They sure fucking do.
Their fucking writing is always like so entertaining. Like,
yes,
immediately something that I want to send to the group chat so we could all talk about it.
Yeah, really great storytellers, I think.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, although soon enough, I think that we'll have even more sources for this story, but more on that a little bit later. On this podcast, we usually start at the beginning of the story because, as we know, absolutely nothing happens in a vacuum. There's always context for people's behaviors, even the most vile ones, like Michael Vick. There's, he grew up in the projects.
In the projects, yeah.
Right. But for this story, I think it's best we start unraveling the story from the middle, or as they say in Latin, in medias res. Please excuse my fanciness.
Fucking Latin ass bitch.
Fucking fancy. I'm just practicing being a socialized scammer too. You know what it is.
Damn, I felt like I was in law school. And we speaking Latin over here. Fuck.
Okay, so Jessica's article starts in February 2017 and tells the story of a young woman named Nefertari Davis, aka Neff. Neff was the concierge at the New York City boutique hotel 11 Howard. One day, Neff was working when a young woman came to her desk, handed her a $100 bill, and asked for a restaurant recommendation in SoHo. The young woman introduced herself as Anna Delvey and said she'd be staying at one of the $400 a night rooms at the hotel for the next month. And that
for the month.
Yeah. And Neff says like no one usually stayed at that hotel for extended periods of time except for like celebrities.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the beginning of what would become a beautiful friendship. Not really beautiful or even a real friendship, but beautiful for listeners of this podcast and people who love a good scandal, especially when it involves a scam. Scamdol should be a word that...
Oh my God, that's a bop right there. Scandal. I wish I was a scammer, low key.
Me too.
They make that paper, dude.
They make that paper. They're fascinating people. They're usually smarter than anyone gives them credit for.
They're super smart. They're like 3 steps ahead of you. That's why they fucking scam your ass.
All right. So for the next month, every time Anna stopped by to talk to Neff at the concierge desk, and it was often, Anna would always tip her $100. Anna would always ask her about where to go eat, drink, party, or whatever. But soon enough, Neff realized that Anna was already super familiar with every single one of the hotspots that she would recommend. Anna would name drop the owners and the staff. So Neff was like, oh, she just wants to chat then, which she says isn't super unusual in that job. She actually made it sound the way a lot of bartenders do about their jobs, like how frequently the job becomes less about serving the drink and more about just listening to your customer when they need to talk to someone.
Right.
Anyway, Anna quickly became a nuisance to the rest of the hotel staff. because she had a tendency to say really shitty things without realizing how they'd come across.
Oh.
In that way that really out of touch wealthy people often do. Neff calls the comments, quote, classist, like, quote, what are you bitches, broke?
Oh, shit.
Like little comments like that where you don't realize that it could be hurtful coming from someone who's wealthy to someone who's regular, you know?
Yeah.
So Anna wasn't saying these things to be intentionally hurtful. She was just seemingly unaware. But at the end of the day, I guess that's sort of part of the job in the hospitality industry, especially at that level. So it seems like the staff mostly just let it roll off their backs because anytime you interacted with Anna, whatever the task was, big or small, she'd tip $100.
Oh.
So they didn't give a fuck, you know? They were like, Neff said that they were literally fighting each other when she would get a package or something delivered and they had to go pick it up because, you know, she'd give them $100.
Fuck yeah, I bet.
So Anna was staying for an extended period of time and it ended up being closer to 3 months, but you know, like she said, I'm going to be here for a month or whatever. So they all more or less got to know her, even just a little. And it turned out that Anna was from Germany, where her dad ran a solar panel business, so money wasn't an issue for her.
Right.
Anna was working on opening a private social club, think SoHo House, but with more of an emphasis on art. And she wanted to call it the Anna Delvey Foundation, or ADF. So Anna was taking meetings all the time with potential investors and business partners to turn her dream into a reality. It was a really big undertaking, especially because what she really wanted to do was open locations in Los Angeles, London, Hong Kong, and Dubai.
Jesus.
So as you can imagine, this is going to require a lot of capital, which even for the ultra wealthy will most likely be more than one person could or frankly should invest in a project like this on their own. Even like a restaurant, you never find like a restaurateur who's like funding the whole restaurant by themselves.
Right.
You know?
There's like a bunch of them.
Yeah. And Anna said that when she turned 25, she'd come into her trust fund and be able to put her plan into action. So she was sort of just like laying the groundwork for now. I mean, making serious like, you know, steps, but at the same time, she was like, this isn't happening tomorrow, you know? Anyway, so Neff was always a person making the reservations and calling the cars and shit. So obviously Anna was keeping Neff paid because call me a car, here's $100.
Right.
And Neff in turn started to think of Anna as a personal friend, which from the jump seems kind of like a mistake.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what your business or industry is, you should never forget that your client isn't your fucking friend.
Right.
But anyway, in this case, I can kind of see how the lines got blurred. And I think that if I were in Neff's position, I might have started to consider Anna a friend too. Aside from the tips, Anna would always treat her to meals at fancy restaurants, treat her for massages, cryotherapy, manicures, and personal training sessions, and the list goes on. And if you're a regular schmegular concierge just trying to get by, of course you're going to be grateful to someone who is showering you with gifts and experiences that you otherwise wouldn't have access to.
Right.
For instance, Anna would sometimes invite Neff along to some of her business dinner meetings, and there'd be, quote, CEOs, artists, athletes, and celebrities.
Damn.
In the Cut article, Neff talks about the one day she showed up to one of those meetings and she sat next to Macaulay Culkin. And she was like, I fucking grew up with Home Alone, you know.
So you're probably so excited.
Right. And she was like, I have so many questions, but I'm trying to be cool. And like, it's just like, all of a sudden she finds herself in this world that she never imagined that she would be in. Or if she did imagine, it's very aspirational. And she's like, okay, well, this is my foot in the door.
Yeah.
Also, Neff is an aspiring filmmaker. She's a cinematographer. So this is totally the circle of people that she needs to be networking with anyway.
Right.
So Anna had been a fixture in the New York party scene since at least 2016. She'd previously interned in Paris at Purple magazine, which is where she made a lot of her connections. Purple is this very très chic, sort of cool counterculture magazine. Think a mix of Interview, Nylon, and Paper. Anyway, Anna seemed to be very buddy-buddy with Purple's editor-in-chief, Olivier Zahm. And Anna could be seen jet setting in private jets around the world at all the hippest and most exclusive clubs and events and in the most fabulous clothes. No one really knew exactly where her money came from, but according to one person in Anna's circle, that wasn't necessarily unusual.
Right.
Quote, "There's so many trust fund kids running around. Everyone is your best friend and you don't know a thing about anyone." She'd mentioned that she was from Cologne and her accent wasn't exactly German and her German wasn't that great.
She's Russian, right, May?
Yeah, she's Russian.
Okay.
Michael Shufu Wang is this super wealthy art collector from Beijing. And after he met Anna, he was like, or she said, "Let's go to Venice Biennial together," which is this huge art exhibition. But Michael thought it was strange that Anna was like, "Would you mind booking the hotel and airfare on your credit card? I'll pay you back in cash."
Hey. Let me borrow some money real quick.
Let me hold some money for you. Also, with few exceptions, Anna usually only ever paid in cash. But in this case, they went and came back, and Anna seemingly forgot to pay him back. It was only $2 or $3 grand, so Michael honestly forgot about it too, and he just like let it go. But it turns out that this is kind of a repeating pattern for Anna. She'd have other people call Ubers for her and then promise to pay them the cash. Or she'd need a place to stay for short or extended periods of time while she was jet setting and offer to pay part of their rent in cash. I mean, some people just like using cash, which, you know.
I would say that's also like kind of an immigrant thing.
Sure. Right.
Like my dad uses cash mostly.
My dad uses cash too. And then my mom always yells at him. She's like, "You look like a fucking drug dealer."
Yeah. And it's like my dad always goes and like pulls cash for the week. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. They don't trust banks. Like I honestly think that's what it is.
Yeah, let's cut that out though, because people are gonna come to your house and check under the mattresses and shit.
That's true though.
You're right. Some people just, they're more comfortable using cash, or they like having cash on deck. Remember that picture of Diddy where he's like trying to tip someone and he has just like straight hundreds in his hand?
Yeah.
But the problem with Anna is that she would forget to pay people back.
Oh,
right?
Nice.
Okay.
Girl. Me too.
So when Anna, in the year of her story, she threw herself this huge, very fancy, very exclusive birthday party at a restaurant in Soho. And a few days later, the restaurant messaged Michael on Instagram because they saw him tagged in some photos from the party, and they asked him for Anna's contact info because she didn't pay the bill.
Oh my God.
And that was the moment that Michael realized that she was a scammer. He was like, "Oh, she's not real. They shouldn't have to find someone, that's tagged in an Instagram photo to get her contact info. That's not a thing that happens."
Wow.
And as Anna traveled the world, her origin story became very fluid. I don't know if it was on purpose or an accident, but some people thought her father was a Russian diplomat. Others thought he was an oil tycoon. Others that he was an antiques dealer. There were no less than a half dozen stories about where her money came from, but no one really cared enough to do more than lightly speculate and gossip about it. Besides, Anna was making strides in making the Anna Delvey Foundation a reality, which was garnering her some notoriety in certain circles. Through her connections, Anna had, quote-unquote, secured the lease from the wealthy New York developer Abby Rosen on a landmark 6-story, 45,000 square foot Park Avenue building. So one floor would be an art gallery, another pop-up shops. On the suggestion of Andre Balzis, 2 floors of hotel suites, a restaurant, etc. It really is not a bad idea.
Right.
And Anna figured the gallery would show art from major artists like Damien Hirst and Jeff Koons. So once you have fucking names like that attached, everyone's ears immediately perk up.
Of course.
One of the owners of Nobu came to do a walkthrough with Anna to discuss the food and beverage options. So the ball was fucking moving. And according to Anna, all she needed was $25 million.
Oh, that's it?
That's all. In addition to the existing $25 million of secured funding.
Oh my God. And this was just for the first one to open?
Just the first one, yeah.
All right.
And then Anna would later complain that ordinarily, she'd have like like a group of investors, a group of like bank partners that would help her with the lease and whatever, but she was complaining that they wanted her to like have a proof of concept and open the first one on her own, sort of.
Right.
So she was like, fuck them.
No, girl. Fuck you.
Well, okay, so I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and like reading a lot of stories about Anna this week to prepare for this. And what I don't like is that a lot of people now, hindsight 2020, are like, this is a stupid idea. I don't think that this is not a stupid idea. I would go, if I could go to a place like this, I would go to it.
Yeah, me too.
And what an example I think is Clifton's in downtown LA. That's not it's not a private club, but it sort of has that concept where every floor is like a different thing.
And there's like bars within bars.
Yes.
Like it's a whole ass vibe.
Right. So I'm like, Anna, yes, do your thing, girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't like that people are like, this fucking stupid. No, it's not. There's plenty of people that would be interested, especially with the cachet of it being a private club like Soho House.
Of course, yeah.
There's plenty of fucking finance bros that are like, that would love to pay for this on some Billy McFarland shit.
Yeah.
So Anna used her connections to get her foot in the door at a couple of investment firms. When the firms asked why she needed a loan for the project, because she's supposedly this trust fund baby, some people were saying, oh, she's worth $60 million. She's worth $50 million. They were like, why do you need a loan? And she replied that her, quote, substantial assets were located outside the U.S. in a Swiss bank account, and that any loans would be secured by the Swiss bank. When the firm, of course, asked for statements from the bank, a man purporting to be the head of Anna's family's business sent a sort of financial spreadsheet from an AOL email address.
Oh,
promising to send
throwback.
Promising to send physical statements soon. So,
okay.
Yeah, she's forging these documents, and which I feel like she's fucking too smart to be using the AOL email address, though. That's like a red flag in 20 what?
They all slip up, right?
2014. Yeah. Anyway, meanwhile, our girl Neff is going about her business.
Right.
She's living that concierge life when one day someone who's like a small investor at the hotel shows up, and his name is Charlie Rosen. And he happens to be the son of Abby Rosen, the owner of Anna's ADF building. Neff was like, BT Dubs, I visited your dad's Park Avenue building that he's leasing out to that arts club. It's going to be sick. And Charlie was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Neff was like, Anna Delvey. She's staying here. And Charlie was like, what room? And like Neff told him, and he was like, don't you think that if my dad were doing a multi-million-dollar deal with someone, that person would be in like a suite or in at least a deluxe room? And Neff was like, you know what? You have a point there.
Hey.
So a few days
we
later,
ain't got the answers.
Shout out to our friend Speak, who was on Sway yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the footage to drop, but I haven't seen the freestyle.
Fucking music video is so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a few days after that fortuitous run-in, I guess you could say, Neff said that she confronted Anna with her concern about her story, and without skipping a beat, Anna replied, quote, you ever have someone do so many favors for you, you just want them to pay you back in silence?
Oh, shit.
And Neff was shook, and she just dropped it because
that's quite the response.
I mean, but she's not wrong, though. Like, I've done all of this for you. I've gave you all this money. Can you just, like, chill? Like, but, yeah, so Neff just, like, dropped it. Cut to April 2017, and Anna's circle of friends had sort of shrunk down to just Neff, Rachel Williams, who was a photo editor at Vanity Fair, and homegirl, the trainer, who Anna had treated Neff to a session with. The trainer's name has never come out, and she's referenced in almost everything that's written about this. She's like, I'm guessing that she's real famous, because she was charging Anna for like block sessions, like $5,000 for like, I don't know, 6 sessions with her or something. And in one of the stories, she talks about like how Anna came to her came to her apartment and the doorman wouldn't let her up. So I'm like, okay, she got a doorman? She's living in this like fancy apartment. So I'm guessing she's also like a life coach. So I think she's like a trainer to the stars or something. Anyway, I would like to know who she is. If anyone has a tip, leave it on the hotline. Okay, so Anna wrote off her shrinking circle of friends as being a result of Anna being too busy with work, which wasn't exactly a lie. The investment firms turned her down for the loan, so she was desperately looking for other funding.
Yeah.
Also, Anna was seemingly suddenly cash poor. One night at dinner, her card was declined, and this story is funny too because Neff says that she gave the waiter a book, like a little black book with like a bunch of credit card numbers, which I feel like that's fucking shady.
That's really shady. What the fuck?
And the waiter went and like tried all the numbers that were written in the book. I'm like, okay, that's
really,
fucking,
bro.
That's fucking weird that you would do that.
But what is that waiter supposed to do though?
You say
call the
like,
FBI?
Not call the FBI, but be like, oh, we can only take physical cards or something.
Yeah.
It just seems like I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna
Hey, take that shit out, bro. You can't be admitting to that shit on this podcast. What the fuck?
This podcast is satire. Anything that we say won't be held against us. All right.
Nope. Man, see, never mind. I'm like, yeah, I want to be a scammer, and then like you get to this part of it, and I would have so much anxiety. Like I couldn't do any of this. Like the what's his face Fire Festival. Billy McFarland, like so much of his shit was like fabricating loans, and like I would just fucking die of anxiety.
Right.
Like just know, like it's gonna catch up with you.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make it out of here.
Let me tell you something. I would have less anxiety fabricating loan documents than I would giving a waiter 12 credit card numbers.
Really? That's funny.
Yeah. Because it's like, how embarrassing. Like my shit is declined. Like, I don't know.
Have you ever had your shit get declined?
Yes.
I have also, and I was fucking pissed. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because I knew like there's no way that it was like actually my limit. And then it was just like, you know how your credit card does that thing where it's like, bitch, you never spend this much money.
Yes.
We're cutting this off. This can't be you.
The one time I was like real embarrassed was my card kept getting declined at Boiling Crab.
Uh-huh.
So
you're trying to pay for dinner?
Yeah, I'm trying to pay for dinner, and like obviously I have this money in my account. I don't know how much it was. What, like $60 or something?
Yeah. What's the most how much shrimp could you eat?
Right. And it turns out,
I want to go to Boiling Crab.
Oh, hey. I was at the Boiling Crab in like somewhere that I don't usually go, like Walnut or something.
Yeah.
And it was saying that there had been a slew of credit card frauds in that area over the last like 3 weeks or something, and because I never go there, they were declining it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with my credit cards, usually when they decline for that reason, you get a text immediately and you can approve it immediately, which I appreciate. I love that.
Me too.
The only time that usually doesn't, like, they're slow with that is like holiday season. Like if it's like Christmas or something, you're spending like thousands of dollars at a department store, which
remind me.
That shit is fucking annoying. Anyway.
I know.
But that day, this was like a few years ago, that text didn't come through for like an hour. So I kept thinking like, what the fuck is wrong with my card? And I ended up giving them a different card, obviously. But I was like, how embarrassing that they thought like I didn't have like $60 fucking in my account.
I'm going to fucking overdraft for this.
For some scrimps. Shit. I am dying for some coconut scrimps. Does anyone have some coconut scrimp wrecks in the LA area? Okay. So anyway, yeah. Okay. So that waiter's like trying all the account numbers, and he comes back. He's like, "I'm sorry.
Hey, you broke, girl."
So Neff, she had to pay the bill that night, which was, I think she said it was like $250, which is a lot of money for Neff. She's a concierge, you know?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
But she felt like that she owed Anna for all the money that Anna has spent on her.
Right.
Besides, it was awkward, but the next day Anna paid her back 3 times the amount in cash. And shortly thereafter, back at work, Neff's manager asked her to talk to Anna about the matter of her outstanding $30,000 hotel bill.
What? I was gonna say because she's been there like a month. It's like 14,000 or something. If it's $400 a night.
Yeah, not only that though, but Le Cuckoo, which was like that was the James Beard Award winner for best new restaurant that year, it's in the downstairs, it's in the lobby.
Shut the fuck up. So she's just charging it to her room.
She's charging it to the room. She's eating there every night. She's charging it to the room. She's getting room service. She's getting Bellinis. She's getting champs.
She's going to the spa, getting blowouts and shit.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
Gangster.
All these
that's
things,
gangster.
Not just for her, but for Homegirl Neff, for the trainer,
whoever the fuck,
for Jessica. I mean, not Jessica. What's her name? Fucking. Now I need to find her. Oh, for Rachel, the Vanity Fair bitch. Anyway, Anna had not put a credit card on file when she checked in.
What? How? You always have to.
You have to, which ordinarily would have been a big problem, but the hotel had just recently opened. And also, she was a VIP. You know, she's staying in not their most expensive room or anything, but she's staying at like a step-up room sort of thing.
And for a long-ass time.
And she'd promised to wire a transfer of funds to kind of like at least at the minimum hold like the room, the nightly rate for the month or whatever. So the hotel just kind of like bit the bullet and let it slide. But they never got that wire transfer and the bill kept blowing up. Neff talked to her about it and Anna said that the wire transfer would come in soon. In the meantime, here's a case of 1975 Dom, split it up amongst the staff.
What?
Yes. So then Neff is like, I can't accept that. Yeah, I have to talk to management about it. And management was like, no, no. Yeah. Because how are we going to accept this from her? Meanwhile, she owes us 30 grand. Like,
yeah, that don't make sense.
It don't make sense. Anyway, not long after that, the wire actually came through. And Anna bought Neff a $400 t-shirt because it was her color.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And I think after that, she did give them that case of Dom.
Whoa, how'd she get that money?
It's coming. A few weeks go by, and Anna was off to Omaha on a private jet to meet Warren Buffett at his annual conference, where she mingled with tons of VIPs, including Bill Gates. But while she was away, the hotel changed the locks on her room and put her personal items in storage because she was still unable to provide a credit card to keep on file.
Oh, you getting your ass evicted?
And her bill had started mounting again. So she cleared the 30 grand, but like, bitch, like, you're still going to dinner at Le Cuckoo every night. You're still like, you know, your nightly rate is still in effect.
Yeah.
So when Anna got to New York, of course, she was furious. And she declared that she was going on a trip to Morocco and would be moving out as soon as she got back. She booked a $7,000 a night villa, complete with a private butler in Marrakesh. And she invited Neff, homegirl from Vanity Fair, Rachel Williams, and the trainer for an all expenses paid trip.
Damn.
Ugh, I would kill for us to go to Morocco, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Jesus went with Laura. Looks dry.
Yep, it's a desert.
Yeah.
So Neff tried to go, but her mom kind of warned her that it wasn't a good idea. And also the hotel didn't give her the days off.
Oh, thank God.
So this turned out to be like very
You were
lucky
going
for
to get
her.
sold over there, girl.
A couple of days into the trip, the trainer got food poisoning and came back to the States. The trainer says that a week later, she got a call from Anna and she was hysterically crying, saying that the hotel was having a problem with her credit card and that she was about to be arrested.
What?
Yeah. So the trainer tried to pay the hotel with her own card, but it didn't go through. She even convinced a friend of hers to put their card down, but it still didn't go through, which is like,
Jesus.
How... Imagine, like, let's say you called me and had me put my credit card down for, like, someone I didn't even know. Like,
oh, that's fucking crazy, man.
That shit is crazy. But the trainer says she just, like, felt bad for her because, I mean, this is a girl who was, like, crying on the phone, like, I'm about to be arrested, you know, and this is your friend and your client.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
Right. So, anyway, none of the cards went through, which turned out to be lucky for her, I guess. Anna then told her she'd figure it out some way or another. But then she asked the trainer to at least book her a ticket back home, first class. Then Anna begged Rachel for help, and Rachel put the $62,000 bill on her credit card.
No.
Which was more than Rachel made in a year.
No fucking way, May.
Yeah.
No fucking way. Get the fuck out of Morocco. Y'all need to go home.
Rachel was trying to come home at that point because she said like right after the trainer fell ill, like that night was the first time she noticed someone from the concierge like come up to Anna and be like, there's something wrong with the card, like, and every day it had become like a bigger and bigger thing until these goons showed up and they were like, fucking pay the bill,
And how long had they been there?
Like a week at that point. It started
crazy.
like with just like a little hate, like 2 days in, and then like by a week it had become a whole ass thing.
Wow.
And Rachel was just trying to come home. She's like, I just want to fucking come home. And Anna was like, don't worry, I'll take care of you. And remember that all these people involved had seen Anna throw money around like it was fucking nothing. So they're like, of course she's gonna pay me back.
She's gonna pay me back. Yeah.
Right. So that was more than what Rachel makes in a year. Just FYI.
Oh, God.
So, back in New York, Anna moved out of 11 Howard, where she was evicted, obviously, and she moved to the Beekman. 20 days later, the Beekman realized that they didn't have a card on file for her, and they never received a wire transfer for the $11,500 that she owed them. So they locked her out and took her shit. So she moved to the W, but they caught on 2 days later. And by July 5th, she was homeless. Not to mention that the London design firm she'd hired to do her branding for the ADF club was starting to get serious about the 17 grand she'd been promising to pay them for over a year. She also owed Rachel the $62,000, but kept giving her excuses, and after about a month she eventually wired Rachel $5,000 to sort of like hold her over, like, it's coming, don't worry. Like Rachel tells her story in Vanity Fair, and it was a whole thing. Like Rachel was like losing weight, she was really stressed out, she's like, I'm not gonna make rent, and
I bet. Fuck.
she was my word is not harassing Anna, because obviously this is money that's owed to her, but she was like showing up at her house like at 8 a.m. like, I need this money,
Yeah, just like consistently following up.
Yes. So this is when stories about Anna started appearing in the New York Post, because all these hotels started filing charges against her.
Wow.
At the same time, the bank started to realize that any documents that she'd been providing in her attempts to secure her $35 billion loans were fraudulent.
Imagine Rachel at this point. She's got to be like, I'm not getting my money back, right?
Yeah.
Like it's got to be like hitting home to her.
Yeah, it's
like what she did.
Well, at this point, at this point, Rachel is still to some extent giving her the benefit of the doubt, thinking something bad must be happening with her trust fund. Like,
yeah,
it must be like a red tape situation. I'm going to get my money, but like, fuck, like, what am I going to do in the meantime,
Right.
So this is what she was doing. This is where she was getting the money from. She was getting relatively smaller lines of credit. Think $100,000 based on the false documents, and using them to pay loans and fees at other banks so that they'd give her credit. So like a Ponzi scheme, sort of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Just moving money around.
Yeah, but like a bank Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
That's scary. What are you doing, girl?
She'd also she did this thing one time where like she opened a bank account at this bank and she deposited $160,000 worth of checks. And then she immediately withdrew $70,000 in cash before the checks were bounced. So, I mean, I didn't know you could do that.
That's crazy.
So all these scams are how she's living day to day, how she paid her bill at 11 Howard to get her shit out, like how she's giving these people cash. I mean, I did not. That's the thing about a scammer. Like, how do you know that this is possible?
Yeah. Yeah, because we abide by the rules, right? So we just don't even think that. But yeah, I mean, one thing I'll tell you about being an attorney is like, no is never the final answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
true.
You can make shit happen for you if you really want to, I guess.
And it gives me anxiety because I like a world where there's rules. Like what's
Me too. Yeah, me too, for sure. Because fuck that. I don't want to live in a world with no rules. These motherfuckers are going to kill us all.
Like when I'm in the line at the supermarket for the express line and someone has more than 15 items, I'm like, there are rules.
I know. That bothers me too. Yeah. It's like, fuck, man. We can't have nothing nice.
Okay, so all these scams are how she's living day to day, how she paid her hotel bills to get her personal items back and shit. she tried to get the trainer and Rachel to help her, but these ladies had been put through enough and they were basically done with her at this point. What she did was she claimed things were just about to turn around for her just as soon as ADF was up and running. And then they showed her an article that showed her that the Park Avenue building that she'd been trying to get was leased to a Swedish photography museum. And Anna called it, quote unquote, fake news.
Oh, wow.
So she cashed another $8,000 in bad checks and took off to California, where she tried to hide out at Passages Rehab in Malibu.
What? What the fuck?
That's smart, though, because she didn't have a place to stay, you know?
I guess, yeah.
Let me go to rehab. And that's where she was subsequently arrested on charges of grand larceny and theft. And she was shipped off to Rikers Island in New York in October of 2017.
Oh, shit.
That's when Anna started talking to Jessica, the writer of the Cuts article, from inside the jail. Anna's real name was Anna Sorokin. She was born in Russia in 1991, and she moved to a working-class city in Germany with her family at age 16. That's why her German wasn't that great.
Right.
Her dad was a truck driver and later started an HVAC small business. Anna moved to London for college, but left school after a year to intern at a PR firm in Berlin, which led to her landing the internship in Paris at Purple, which is around the same time she started using the name Anna Delvey. Anna claims that everything that she did was in pursuit of her goal of opening the Anna Delvey Foundation. This is some Elizabeth Holmes vibes.
Right.
She was offered a plea deal of 9 years, which she rejected and took her chances at trial.
Wow.
After her trial...
How much did she owe in total?
They were saying $275,000.
Damn. 9 years? Well, I get it's just like it's the like circle of fraud. Like it's and it's just like she's gonna keep doing it, you know?
Right. After her trial in May 2019, Anna was convicted and sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison.
Damn.
The day after she was sentenced, she said, quote, "The thing is, I'm not sorry. I'd do it again. I'd be lying to you and to everyone else and to myself if I said I was sorry for anything. I regret."
She's a gangster,
dude. She's a bad bitch, honestly.
Damn.
Okay. She said, "I regret the way I went about certain things. One of those things is apparently the $60K plus that she forced Rachel to take on in Morocco. Because she's a scammer, but she wasn't like, I think that that situation was just like, Rachel was just caught in like in the crossfire. Like she was collateral damage. She wouldn't have scammed her. Anna was generous.
Right.
With the money that she stole. Like she was
right.
she wasn't, I don't think these regular
people. She wasn't stealing from the regular people. She was stealing from the banks.
Yeah, I think that she was, I mean, this obviously doesn't excuse her behavior, but
of course not.
But I think that if she had it, she would have paid Rachel, you know?
Yeah.
Or she wouldn't have put Rachel in that position in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's actually really sorry about that. But the other reported $250,000, which is actually just what we know of, and is most likely certainly much, much more, that she's scammed out of banks, private jet companies, and people like that guy, like Michael.
Yeah,
like rich people.
Pay for this trip real quick.
Yeah, yeah. She's not sorry about any of that. Quote, "My motive was never money. I was power hungry," was a quote that Anna told to the New York Times.
Damn.
She's been disciplined over 30 times for breaking the rules while she's been incarcerated.
Holy shit.
And it has...
How long was her sentence then?
4 to 12 years.
4 to 12? That's a big ass range.
Yeah. So
That's
I guess 4 is like the absolute earliest on good behavior and shit.
Oh, okay.
But like, obviously that's not going to happen because she's fucking up in prison.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's, I mean, at this rate, it's possible that she's going to serve the full 12 years.
Fuck. And then get deported probably, right? To Germany or Russia?
That's what I was going to say. She's going to get deported at the end of her sentence. ICE has already
she'll go into removal proceedings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, she's been disciplined over 30 times, and as a result of that, she's been moved to the maximum security section.
What? Holy shit.
Because she's been getting in fights and shit.
Damn. We didn't really know what we were dealing with. It's crazy.
Anna is currently writing 2 memoirs.
Fuck yeah, girl, make that paper.
One about her life before prison, and
No
one
one
about
wants to
her
read
life
that.
in prison. No,
Oh.
you do, because the before is all the scams.
Right. I thought you meant one about her life before the scams.
No. One is about the scams, and then one is some Orange is New Black shit.
Oh yeah, no, I want to read about the scams.
I want to read about both of these things, because apparently she's wearing like Celine glasses in prison and shit. I'm like, yes, girl, it me.
What the fuck?
And after prison, she'll be deported back to Germany. Shonda Rhimes is dramatizing the Cuts article as a series for Netflix.
Ooh, hell yeah, I love Shonda Rhimes.
I'm there.
Yeah.
And Lena Dunham is...
Oh, no.
Honestly,
She's going to beat her?
Lena Dunham understands her, I bet.
Yeah, actually.
You know,
and actually, they
TBH.
do kind of lend,
Yeah.
like, something about them looks...
Mm-hmm. Well, Lena Dunham, I don't know if she's going to play her. I doubt it, but maybe.
She should.
I don't know.
She looks funny in court.
Yeah. She's adapting Rachel Williams' story for HBO.
Oh, Lena Dunham's doing her own thing. No, Lena, work with Shonda.
You think Shonda wants to work with Lena Dunham?
That's true, though.
Rachel also wrote a book about this, and it was released this summer. I actually saw that. I didn't listen to it because I don't want to step on their toes, but Betches interviewed Rachel like 2 months ago about her story.
Cool.
So if you want to listen to Not Another True Crime Podcast, they talk to Rachel about this. It's just from like July or something. So
that's cool.
I'll listen to it too, and maybe I'll update. But yeah, anyway. Anna is reportedly incredibly concerned, and the judge was fucking pissed at her about this, incredibly concerned about who's going to play her in these projects, with rumors swirling that it could be Lindsay Lohan, which that's perfect casting. Please God, let it be Lindsay Lohan. But Anna really wants it to be Jennifer Lawrence.
What? Shut the fuck up.
But Jennifer Lawrence is playing Elizabeth Holmes, so
yeah, she's not going to play this double scammer.
Yeah.
Do double scam roles.
And that's the story of the SoHo grifter, Anna Delvey.
Anna Delvey. Damn. That's a wild ride.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
I respect it.
I do too. I respect her statement when she got convicted.
I know.
Low key. Damn, girl.
You know that meme that's like the guy that walks into the room?
Oh, I love that meme, man. That was my favorite meme format. Because the first one I saw was like, this is how your PE teacher used to walk into the room when he was going to monitor a test. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly right.
That's how that bitch said her statement after she got sentenced. She was like, fuck you guys. I'll do this shit again. Lock me up. Hold me back.
Seriously.
And
that's
honestly, scam those banks. They stole from people during the financial crisis. That's why some people were
They
fucking
caused it,
homeless.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So fuck them. I don't fuck with her scamming like Neff and shit.
And the girl Rachel. That's
and Rachel.
up.
Yeah, that's fucked up. And she seems like she's remorseful about that. But
what happened to Rachel in that debt? She just stuck with it?
Rachel says that, and this is a personal ad also for American Express, which I love. I love my American Express card. American Express was like, no, you got scammed, and they just like erased that shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Actually, one of the only counts that Anna was declared not guilty for was the 60 whatever grand that she owed Rachel.
Wow.
Yeah. Because her attorneys argued that she knowingly went on this trip. No one forced her to put this on her card. She could have not put it on her card if she wanted to.
Yeah, but that shit's not that black and white.
I know.
Like, yeah, sure, but no.
So Anna not guilty on that charge.
Wow. That's wild.
And Rachel's book deal, 600 grand.
Hell yeah, Rachel. That's awesome.
I hope my homegirl Neff, who the Cut article is based around, got fucking paid too. But Neff is a black girl from DC.
Oh, that's fucked up.
But
does she have a book?
No, and she's a cinematographer, so she wants to like direct movies and stuff. So I hope she's like at least parlayed that into the notoriety into something.
Yeah,
I hope she did. But Shonda's series is based off of that article, so
okay. I'm sure Shonda would.
Yeah,
Yeah, involve her somehow.
yeah.
That shit's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, that was this week's episode of The Drama Club. Hit us up on our Instagram and Twitter at Drama Club Pod and on the website dramaclubpod.com.
On the hotline, 505-539-0556 at our P.O. Box. Leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you to all the new reviewers.
Yep.
Leave us a tip on our website, and we'll catch you on Monday with our Afternoon Delay episode.
Bye.
Bye.
However, whatever with your helmet.